Now, just a little warning before we begin, there will be major spoilers in this video for the 8th and final episode of the Willow series on Disney+. So if you have not seen it yet and you don't want anything ruined, it's a really good time to click away. Okay, so what did you think of our season/series finale?
I like how you're skating around the fact that it was the series finale when it was implied that it is not.
It's implied that there are going to be 3 seasons of this.
Yes, because this finished
skipping right to the bitter end.
Volume 1 of Willow.
Right to the end, yeah. However...
Which means he'll survive Volume 2 if he's in Volume 3.
However...
Or he Luke Skywalkers and he dies and comes back as a magic Force ghost.
A Willow ghost? However, we don't know that this will be renewed because apparently the numbers are not there for this series at all.
Hey, Disney does what Disney wants to do. They have the money to finance whatever project they feel like doing.
Sure. It's not impossible, but I don't know that it's probable. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
But then wouldn't they have cut that? If the numbers aren't doing what you think they should be doing, why not cut that end scene before they post it up on Disney+?
Because they
have that option.
Sure, but I don't think they've decided 100%. It could pick up steam later on, too. I don't know how, but could. Anyway, before we discuss all that, before we discuss a possible Season 2 and beyond, what did you think of the end of Season 1?
I think they ruined it with pop music and modern-day lingo again. You
didn't like Dire Straits at the end?
No, I did
Talking
not.
About microwave ovens and MTV? I mean...
Those things totally fit in Willow, honestly. I don't know why we haven't heard them.
I just remember that song when I was a kid. That was on MTV all the time, that video. I can still see like the weird block guys. I don't know. That'll make sense to anybody who's seen the video. Probably not to anybody else, though.
No, again, poor choice of music. Give me adventure music. Make things like feel serious and adventure-y and fun. What are you doing? Playing weird music? Not even just that one song. They played that weird song during the wedding.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like after the last episode, they were starting to get things on track, that they were possibly moving in the right direction. And then the first parts of this episode, I was like, okay, we're having personal trials and things we have to overcome, and it's still a little teenagey weird. Okay, I'm going to overlook that. And then they're like, let's just play weird music.
Well, it's not that it's weird music, it just doesn't fit.
It does not fit.
It's not even like modern teen music, right? Like Dire Straits is like 80s music.
It's older than Willow in the middle of Game of Thrones and see how that goes.
Well, I don't get who they're trying to appeal to with this music. They're trying to take like these old songs and make them hip. Or something. I don't know. That's probably the wrong way to put it in this day and age.
It's almost like what I call James Gunning it.
Ooh. Yeah. Trying to use old music to like
make something seem fresh and unique and
yeah,
I don't know.
Which is weird that you would use old music to make something feel fresh and new. But I get what you're saying. It does have that.
It was my complaint with the Ant-Man trailer. The first trailer that came out, I was like, look, it's a James Gunn trailer. We got corny hairball music, weird colors and bright lights. And the trailer, I had no hope for that movie at all. Then they released the second Ant-Man trailer, and I was like, huh. Look at that. Serious sci-fi music. Everything looked important, and I was like, okay, even with the goofy characters of, MODOK being in there and weird.
You calling MODOK goofy?
Yeah. The music can really impact a show or trailer or movie, and you can't mess that up. And then they just threw out that entire philosophy for this series.
If you ever want to know how impactful I think music can be, try to imagine Star Wars without John Williams' score. Try to imagine it with some kind of cheesy 70s sci-fi track. I mean, go watch some sci-fi from
synthesizer music.
Exactly, synthesizers. Yes. Imagine that over Star Wars. Do you think we'd be talking about Star Wars today? No one would be.
You can entirely change a movie just by changing the soundtrack.
Exactly. That's my point.
They chose a poor soundtrack for Willow.
I'm not saying John Williams is the only reason Star Wars is huge, but without that score, game changer. And so this I'm not saying Willow would be great if it had some epic, John Williams or James Horner score to it right now, but it would be better.
Improvement, because you'd feel a different tone to it. A more serious tone.
This could have been, yeah.
The teen speak still needs to be
the teen speak
in the modern lingo.
The teen. Well, I kind of teen
Didn't
speak modern lingo.
Didn't she call the crone a bitch at one point?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that's not a word you could throw in there, but the way it was used. No, the crone used it actually.
Oh, that was right. That was why it was even worse. It's the crone. Crone was weird looking. Why would you choose to look like a creepy monster lady when you can choose to look like a hot young princess?
I think she chose to look that way. I think that's her true form.
Yeah, but why would you choose to look like your true form when you can choose to look like a hot
We don't know that she was choosing to look like her true form.
I think she made a conscious decision there. Like, oh, we're going to fight now? Let me look like the evil person. Ha 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 ha.
I guess, sure.
We get rid of my boy Graydon. Let's throw him through the portal to oblivion and make it look like he blew up. Literally look like he died. And
I kind of chuckled when I saw him standing in front of the portal. I'm like, dude, don't stand in front of the portal.
The most useless, stupid...
Hey.
No. Didn't need to keep...
Eric is sensitive.
Yeah, we didn't need to keep him.
You knew we weren't going to lose Eric. You knew Graydon was... If you had to play it was either Borman or Graydon, right? One of them had to go.
But they wanted you to think it was going to be Borman, too.
Well, yeah. Mm. Well, they wanted some mystery, right? We knew certain ones had no chance of dying or going away. Mm. Graydon was the most obvious because he was becoming like a wizard, and Willow's like, man, you're a really good dude, Graydon. Mm-hmm. Well, look at that. Graydon died-ish. Or sees a different future where...
Yeah, he goes into a different realm where he's apparently going to be helping an evil version of Allura, possibly the worm in disguise, to now take over the world.
Cool.
Plus
he had that evilness in him already.
Because he's so stupid, he could never figure this out.
He had some kind of weird evil in him already, didn't he? Was like possessed by something? We never
really
found out what it was.
He was a child, yes, but all those scars are whatever his father decided to do to get rid of it.
Yeah, but did he get rid of it?
I'm going to say he did.
Is he the worm all along?
Oh my goodness.
I've broken the code.
No, I don't think
so.
I just think they could have done better to make this jive with the original series, to make everything seem more cohesive. Maybe this should have been picked for a different audience. Even teenagers who like adventure fantasy stories, I can't see them liking. This isn't supposed to be like a teen heartthrob romance. This is written like Twilight instead of like Willow.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you only have one Willow instance really to draw on because not many people have read the other literature involved in Willow.
No, because it's much different anyway.
Right, because there were some copyright issues or something that they couldn't
use the name Willow.
Yeah. There were some bizarre copyrights is what I've heard. You didn't write this for people who are looking for high fantasy. You wrote this for people who want Twilight or Hunger Games.
Yes. Yes, it didn't put high fantasy before it put the teen drama.
This was a freeform television show.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's the CW meets
Willow, I'm just sad because
right?
It didn't feel like it was advertised like that. I felt like it was misleading
that
way.
It's not even that it wasn't you just don't assume that it's gonna... I mean, if you watch the original Willow, again, we're talking 1988, and if you remember it from 1988, you're not young anymore. You're not necessarily old, but you're not young. You're not a teenager. You're not an early 20-something.
Well, the thing is if you shared this, if those people shared it with their children or younger relatives, they're not going to remember it as this teeny bopper show. They're going to see it the way their parents or people who introduced this to them see it. So it doesn't line up with the original at all.
I would imagine there are a lot of parents who saw this coming and were like, oh, cool. I watched that when I was a kid. I kind of liked it. Let's show it to young Billy and, Bobby.
Right, and if Billy and Bobby liked this show, they're not going to like that.
No, they're going to be like, what is this?
Anyone who liked Willow is going to feel a disjointed connection to this new Willow.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's very strongly connected. It doesn't feel quite right. It doesn't feel like Willow.
No. And then Willow, I can never understand what's the deal with Willow. I'm the worst wizard ever, but I'm going to just handle my business when I have to.
Yeah, he keeps saying he's not a great wizard, and he's telling Allura that you have to have your convictions, you have to really feel it and throw away your fears, but he's constantly saying, I'm not a wizard, Harry. And
You're not a wizard, Willow.
I don't get it.
I've never understood what they were trying to do with Willow.
I mean, I thought, okay, I'm like, is he really going back home to Mims right now? He's just going to start walking?
Yeah.
Bye, Willow? I'm like,
because that's just fitting. Call the show Willow when he chickens out from the final battle.
Mm-hmm. The battle was weird. The wand got broken. She can use magic without the wand because she's cool. Makes sense. I never thought she needed a wand in the first place. Yep. The magic fight was just shooting bolts back at each other. It didn't feel like there was any... I mean, why does Willow have her learning all those spells if you really only use...
attack?
Your bolt attack and your blocking.
Yeah. It's like it reminded me of like a Harry Potter fight where they're like touching wands and
I know, and Harry Potter just turned into like throwing
Throwing
colored
curses or
lights
whatever?
back
I
at
don't
each
even know
other
what
for
they
the
do.
most part, but they learned all these different spells that but it's different with that because they learned magic as a household use.
Okay.
Like if you go to the Weasley household, the mom is she's using magic in every facet of household life, doing different spells with it and things. But anytime they get into a fight, it's just whipping lights. They just forget about it.
That's what I never understood about Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. Like I'm saying I didn't like it. I like Harry Potter.
They're mostly just using stunning spells.
Yeah, it's like they went to school for all these years, and like when they get to combat, I mean, there's even like defense against the dark arts and all these things. But it felt like combat is always like shooting colored balls at each other and blocking them or not blocking them. I don't know.
Well, they teach them that, but they don't expect that to be like their life.
Well, sure, but I mean, with Voldemort,
like
or he
when you
who
go
will
to
not be named or something.
when you go to school and you spend all that time in PE, but you end up with a desk job.
Well, sure, but we don't go to school expecting to fight potential dark wizards someday. Not at our regular school.
Well, they don't expect to fight potential dark wizards either. The people who go into the police force, a.k.a. the ministry office, the Auroras, they are the ones who are going to need that knowledge.
Maybe they should.
And the school is just giving people a practical knowledge of all fields so they can kind of figure out where they belong.
Maybe they should teach self-defense in schools.
This is really off.
I'm pitching some self-defense in schools.
Why not?
And not against dark arts, but against dark a-holes.
You could have karate or any other form of self-defense. I'm not against it. I mean, just make it as a gym class type thing.
Yeah.
Everyone learns it, but like home ec, you all had to try it. Whether you end up using it in your life is depending on where you choose to go.
I learned how to use a sewing machine, and it's never come back to help me.
I learned how to use a calculator, and that's never come back to help me. I'm kidding. I've learned how to use math without a calculator.
I was going to say, the calculator...
I learned how to math without a calculator. When your teachers used to always say, "Are you going to carry a calculator in your pocket?"
Yes, I am. As a matter of fact,
I am.
It's going to do more than that, too. You'll see.
I will carry the world connecting device in my pocket.
Every piece of knowledge mankind has ever formulated, whatever, in my pocket.
For reasons.
I'm just...
But as for Willow, the show we're talking about, I feel like just overall they could have done better. And maybe if they take notes from the people who've been making videos or writing articles, if they take any notes, constructive criticism.
Because unfortunately, this has become one of those shows that it's
just
a target.
Gets the hate traffic.
Which, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't deserve criticism. Let's be honest, but let's also be fair. Like, you don't have to intentionally go out there to destroy it, right?
There were good things in the show. I liked that there's the elixir that the trolls were drinking. It all ties together, and it's all from the worm. And I'm like, okay, we've got some connecting points, and that's good storytelling to give me some connecting points. That now we really know this stuff is bad, and it messes with your mind because obviously the trolls all serve the crone because the crone gave them the elixir, and there are connecting things that I very much liked. But the choices, aside from a lot of the choices they made, were just bad.
It's not well written.
Poor.
It's not well written, and the whole... Well, I guess from the start, and I know we're not really talking about the episode, we seem to be summarizing the whole series, so apologies if you were looking for an in-depth review of this episode, but as we've been saying, the premise is where they went wrong. Not so much the premise, but just their format, the genre in which they want it. Instead of, again, being high fantasy, it is not your classic high fantasy, which is what Willow very much overtly was.
And I'm fine with the goofy stuff. I mean,
goofy things is fine. Yeah, there were goofy things in the first Willow.
Them hiding in the dust and the dirt because the other guys are hiding from them, and they're hiding from you because you're hiding from them, and they know that you're here.
Yeah, I'm fine with the silliness. That's fine. A little bit of silly. I don't want it to go too over the top.
That's fine. But when your writing is just bad, I mean, what are you supposed to do? I get it. It's a very teenage thing to look at the guy and go, I guess I'm just not that into him anymore. I don't want to get married to him anymore.
That sounded like the most teenage thing ever right there.
Why was this in the show?
I think when you're a teenager, you go from wanting to marry somebody to not being interested in them in the course of one school day, right?
But at the same time, why didn't they just show some character growth? Like maybe she's starting to realize that she's coming into her own and that she needs to figure out who she is before she can be in a relationship, or that she maybe has feelings for someone else, or anything else. They could have actually opened up some depth into the character that moment. Instead, they made her sound like that casual teenager again. Oh, no, I'm just not that into you anymore.
Bye.
I
don't know what the kids say.
I don't know. Probably not that.
I don't know. I think I should be learning it from Willow, though. Which is unfortunate. That's not what I expected to learn from Willow.
Yeah. I just want to like the show.
I know
I wanted to enjoy the show. And
I wanted to too. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Just have a slice of my childhood that I could relish. As here it is again. I even made you watch the original one with me again before the series
I didn't have any
started.
problem with watching Willow again. I mean, I like Willow. It's fine. It's nothing It's not spectacular, but it's good. It's a solid 80s fantasy movie.
All right. Are we giving this the hammer scale?
Oh, goodness gracious. You're going to make me go first, aren't you?
You always go first.
Hammers, 1 to 10. No half hammers, right?
No
I can't
half hammers.
hammer.
I'm sick of you half hammering.
I like to half hammer.
You don't get there halfway through the swing and just pull.
You know what? That's the code word of the day. You know, we've been doing it for the last few videos. I'm going half hammer. So if you made it to the end, tell me how many half hammers you're going to give Willow. Because I'm going to give Willow 3.5 hammers. I did it.
Well, I don't do halves, so I guess I'll say 4. There was just enough in there to tick me up from a 3.
There's enough in there that it's
just
not...
enough.
It's not terrible. I mean, it's bad. Some of the episodes are much worse than others, but it's not... You know, I don't know. Maybe because I don't want to dislike it. For your sake, and my own, I guess, a little bit. There's something there. But it needs refinement, better writing.
You just have to swim through all the elixir
and to find the
it.
tone. You need to find the right tone. You started off with the wrong tone. That's the word I was looking for before. The tone was off. So 3.5 hammers. All right. Well, that is all we got for this time. So do take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of this episode of Willow or the whole series. How many half hammers are you going to give it?
Willow. Willow, we have 2 more seasons. Willow.
I'll never get made.
You don't do it good.
I know I don't, which probably makes it better. Anyway. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. But take to the comments below. Let's talk some Willow. And until next time, thanks for watching.
I have to stop surprising you with stuff because it gets weird.